Everybody got quiet.
Got it.
That may be a good thing.
JP?
I even calmed down.
I'd like to welcome y'all to Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I'd like to thank y'all for allowing me to be your host. For me, this is a very special occasion. This occasion is the start of the new year. When we were an agronomy society, this was very important because this time of year, this was the starting point for our plantings of our gardens. This celebration has been kept, I guess, further than what records we have. It started off as a spring festival. It became known as Passover when Abraham, or not Abraham, but when Moses and Israel left Egypt. During this feast, we have a celebration called the Eucharist, or the Last Supper. We do this in remembrance of Jesus. I probably have so many things that I would like to tell y'all and can't in such a short notice, and one, I'm not a very good speaker. Maybe I'll just kind of muddle through this. Before we start the feast, we'd like to thank the VFW members and their staff for allowing us to use their facilities. They have always been supportive. They have very good facilities here, and it's nice of them to share this with us. There's just a couple of rules. They're not necessarily VFW rules, they're probably ABC rules. But we probably shouldn't, if we have any drinks, not take them beyond this boundary. If we have drinks here, we're not allowed to take them there. But you can have drinks there and bring them here. And like I said, this is not necessarily VFW rules, but it's ABC rules. At this feast, a lot of people ask me, what do you do at this feast? The whole purpose is to eat at your heart's content. And the instruction says if you desire a strong drink, to have it. If you do have a strong drink, I ask y'all to be responsible and not overdrink. But anyway, we all live somewhere else and we have to drive on this road, so y'all, if you do have a strong drink, please be responsible with that. This, with that, normally I would make what's called a matzo bread, but I just didn't have time at this feast. But we do have cornbread on the fair, and it is a bread of unleavened. The unleavened portion of this feast is to clean your body of yeast and yeast products. This is to take place in the spring. This happens to be the 14th day of the first moon of this year. Our Bible instruction tells us to go to the spring equinox. The first new moon would be the first Sabbath. From the first Sabbath, you would count 14 days and have Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. There's a lot of people that think that we shouldn't necessarily keep this feast. The Bible instruction says to keep this feast forever throughout all our generations. Always the next question comes up is, that is probably for Jewish people. And I have been asked upon a multitude of occasions, am I Jewish? I am not. These instructions were given to the 12 groups of Israel. the Jewish people are only one of these 12. There are 11 other groups. They left Egypt, moved into the Middle East, across into Asia Minor, and become known as Caucasians. We have all filled out applications in our lifetime, and if they asked what race you were, you would answer Caucasian. Caucasian is from Abraham's seed. We all speak the language, and the language is an Arabic language. English is a derivative of the Arabic language. We've called ourselves a multitude of things throughout history. We've called ourselves Phoenicians. We've called ourselves Hyksos. Hyksos means the shepherds or the keepers or the tenders. It could mean any of the words. In Genesis, it said that God had planted a garden, and he looked around and there wasn't a tender of the garden. And he created Adam for this purpose. We have been the tenders of this garden ever since.